So, what do you think Amy would make of this evening?
What would she make of it? She wasn't a fan of these sort of events, I've got to be honest with you. She'd just say, get on with it, Dad. And that's what we're doing, you know. She wasn't a great fan of this sort of thing, but we love it. So, you know, this is in her honour, and it's our first major fundraiser, so we're very excited.
Do you think this will become an annual thing?
Well, I hope so. You know, see how we do tonight. You know, I'll need a year to recover till the next one, but you know, I really hope it will be the first of many great fundraisers that we'll have.
As her dad, it must be difficult, but do you have an overriding favourite memory of Amy?
Well, you know, there are so many, it's difficult to know where to begin. Her humour, I mean, we would, I was just talking before about, I think 2 months after Back to Black came out, she was #1 all over the world. She was Adele and Lady Gaga rolled into one, and she said to me, Dad, let's go for a walk in Soho. And we started at the top of Wardour Street, and we're walking down, and she said, just a sec, Dad. She went into the Caribbean restaurant, went downstairs, and she was talking to her friend down there, and the cook, her name's Auntie, and she knew all about her and all about her family. And then we came out, and then we went into Ryman's, the stationers. She knew all the girls in there. Then we went, you know, everywhere she stopped, she knew everybody and was genuinely knew everything about them. I remember looking at her and thinking, you know what, there are not a lot of young women in your position that will bother with this kind of stuff.
Like your mum?
Yeah, my mum was exactly the same, and that made me so proud of her. She was just a normal girl with obviously an extraordinary talent. Lovely girl.
What is the overriding legacy, do you think, for Amy then? Is it her music, or is it sort of the humanitarian stuff like the foundation, the work that she did?
Well, I think both. You know, I mean, her musical legacy obviously will look after itself. It will last forever. You know, but by doing things like that, people don't realise, or I think they are beginning to realise, what a charitable young lady she was. We are only just beginning to find out about some of the things that she did. You know, there was a homeless young lady living with her for 6 months. I didn't know who this girl was walking around in her flat, and she said, she's homeless, Dad, I'm looking after her. And you know the story when she was in St Lucia, and she picked this guy up off the beach who needed a hernia operation, took him to the hospital. You know, we're just finding out all of these stories. So really what we're doing is just continuing the work that she started to do.
And I don't assume that it was difficult to get people involved in this tonight.
Well, it wasn't too difficult, to be honest with you. It wasn't too. You needed 1 or 2 arm twists, but you know, Matt Goss has come all the way from LA. Incredible. Jamie Cullum's come all the way from Ladbroke Grove. So we've come from Enfield. So, you know, people have come from all points of the compass. It's going to be a wonderful evening. We're really looking forward to it.
It's been a year since the foundation's been running. Tell us about the achievements of it, and you're so proud of the work that they've done so far.
Well, I won't call it achievements as such. You know, this is what we've set up to do. And we were very fortunate in the first year. How fortunate could we be? That's a stupid choice of words. But in the first year, my book came out, and we had tremendous advances, and we were #1 for 6 weeks, so all of the profits of the book go to the foundation. Also, in the first year, Amy's Lioness Hidden Treasures album came out, and Universal donated £1 from every album. That got us an awful lot of money as well. So for the first year, financially we were okay. Now we're like every other foundation and charity, we have to raise money, and that's what we're doing. But you know, Amy left us some very clear ideas. She loved children. Her and my mum would sit there all day watching I don't even know what it was, watching babies being born. So, you know, and if one of them got up to go to the loo, they'd pause it just in case. And I'd go in and want to watch the football, and they'd scream at me because they want to watch babies. So they love babies. Amy loved children. She loved young people. We know that she took somebody who was homeless in herself, so she understood about homelessness. And of course, the struggle that she had with drugs, which ultimately she overcame, unfortunately not with alcohol. We know that we have to try and help people in that situation as well. So it's not an enormous leap for us to figure out where we've got to go. Other people would have to judge the achievements. We don't regard it as achievements. You know, frankly, we think it's our moral obligation to do what we're doing. It's not achievements, it's what we have to do.
I know hard one to pick, but do you have a favourite song of Amy's and why?
Not a hard one. It's Body and Soul with Tony Bennett. The reason she recorded Body and Soul was because it was my favourite song. She went to Tony Bennett, he gave her 6 songs to choose from on the album, and I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm doing Body and Soul. And I said to her, why are you doing that? She said, because it's your favourite song, Dad. Shut up! And I said to her, do you know the words? And she said, Dad, you've been singing it to me for 25 years. So that's my favourite song.
Great evening.